Hello, I'm Paddy Comyn. Obviously we're having some pretty extraordinary weather conditions at the moment, so a lot of people are asking about some hints and tips for driving in ice and snow. Obviously the first one, don't do it unless it's absolutely necessary. Our cars in Ireland tend to be pretty badly equipped when it comes to tyres. We tend to have summer tyres or all-weather tyres, and they don't always do the job that winter tyres do. Winter tyres really aren't seen very much in Ireland, and they're pretty hard to get at the moment too. So obviously we're going to be driving on the ones which we have, so don't do it unless it's absolutely necessary. But that's not always practical. So what should you do if you're out driving on the snow and ice? The first thing to know is speed. You need to be very careful of your speed. You need to leave so much more space than you normally would in normal driving conditions or even rain, because there's a tendency, if something happens in front of you, you stand on your brake, you lock up, then obviously there's a problem, or you could even skid in some cases. So when it comes to your braking, you need to brake gently. If you stand on the brakes, even with ABS brakes, they can lock up, so you need to just brake easily and gently. And the other side of that is you also need to let your ABS brakes do its thing. People who haven't really been in an emergency stop situation before tend to worry, because if you stand on the brakes hard on ABS, there is a grinding noise, a very mechanical sound, and it sounds like there's a problem, but it's not. It's doing its job, so just leave it alone and leave it be. The other thing is to make sure that people can see you, so make sure you leave your lights on all the time, from morning till noon, because there's so much bright light around, and obviously the visibility is poor, so just have your lights on. It might seem an obvious one, but make sure your windscreen is clear. Clear it in the morning, clear all your windows, and clear any big mounds of snow which might be on your roof, on your bonnet, because they can come down in front of you, they can come down in front of other drivers behind you, and that's not good. Engine braking is also something to consider, because braking can be a little bit hazardous in these driving conditions. If you're coming up to a junction, go down through your gears and let the car gradually slow down itself. Be careful when you're out in the road looking at things like underpasses, bridges, because these shady areas are often some of the worst places for ice, and if you need to go up a hill, there can be a massive problem there. Now, what happens if you do start to skid? First of all, to prevent the skid in the first place, I'll say it again, leave enough distance from the car in front. The problem with skidding is because you've stood on the brake too hard, or you've come up to a corner too fast. So do all your braking in advance and just anticipate the unexpected. But if it does happen, if you find the car starting to skid, ease gently off the accelerator, because that will help. If you're taking a turn and you find the car is going forward too much, again, ease off the accelerator, let the car find grip again. If the back end of the car starts to move away from you, steer in the direction of the skid. So if you start to skid left, steer left. If you start to skid right, steer right. And if you find it goes too much, use the steering to balance it up again, but just make everything gradual. Other tips: buy a bag of kitty litter, buy a bag of sand or grit, and keep it in the car, because that will really help. If you get stuck, you can put it under the driven wheel. So if it's a front wheel car, put it under the front wheels. If it's a rear wheel drive car like a BMW, Mercedes, something like that, put it on the rear. And you can rock the car gently back and forward, so into first, slowly forward, reverse, slightly backwards, and rock the car backwards and forwards. So you're just looking for grip all the time, basically. So things like that as well. If you've got traction control in your car, you'll often see the symbol. It could be TC, it can be any other symbol on it as well. If you're on a hill, sometimes traction control doesn't do its job properly, so you can switch that off. That might allow you to get up and out of the hill as well. Especially on hills, you're going to have a problem with traction control, because what it's doing is braking individual wheels because it thinks they're spinning.
Driving safely on icy roads. Decrease your speed and leave yourself plenty of time to stop. You should allow at least 3 times more space than usual between you and the car in front of you. Brake gently to avoid skidding. If your wheels start to lock up, ease off the brake. Turn on your lights to increase your visibility to other motorists. Keep your lights and windscreen clean. Use engine braking where possible. Be especially careful on bridges, overpasses, and infrequently travelled roads, as they will freeze first. Even at temperatures above freezing, if the conditions are wet, you might encounter ice in shady areas or on exposed roadways like bridges. Don't assume your vehicle can handle all conditions. Even four-wheel drive and front-wheel drive vehicles can encounter trouble on winter roads. If your rear wheels skid, take your foot off the accelerator. Steer in the direction of the skid. If your rear wheels are sliding left, steer left. If they're sliding right, steer right. If your rear wheels start sliding the other way as you recover, ease the steering wheel towards that side. You might have to steer left and right a few times to get your vehicle completely under control. Smooth movement of the steering wheel will recover the skid better than sudden, jerky motions. If your front wheels skid, take your foot off the accelerator, but don't try to steer immediately. As the wheels skid sideways, they will slow the vehicle and traction will return. As it does, steer in the direction you want to go and accelerate gently. If you do get stuck, do not spin your wheels. This will only dig you deeper. Turn your wheels from side to side a few times to push snow out of the way. Use a light touch on the accelerator pedal to ease your car out. Use a shovel to clear snow away from the wheels and the underside of the car. Pour sand, kitty litter, gravel or salt on the path of the wheels to help get traction. Try rocking the vehicle. Shift from forward to reverse and back again. Each time you're in gear, give a light touch to the accelerator until the vehicle gets going again.